we're all excited to get started. I think, I think everybody works really hard to create a team like this, and so this is, it's a bit ceremonial. Obviously, nothing crazy is happening today, but it's fun to get at least the first group of pitchers and catchers started. Have a good day and build a foundation for a great season.
Craig, you mentioned a team like this, obviously built to compete for a World Series championship. Obviously, it's a goal every year, but when you have those big goals, high expectations, is that something you talk about with the team, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, certainly you talk about your goals. Absolutely. If you don't talk about them, they're not real. So we got to absolutely talk about our goals. Everybody in this industry wants expectations. You work hard to get expectations, and that's what I'm referring to. You work really hard to build a roster that has expectations. You work really hard to get on a team that has expectations. So that's what we want. Sometimes I think there's a misnomer with that. So we're truly excited that we have expectations. It's not easy to get them, and so you work hard to get them.
Specifically with your rotation, and I asked you in winter about lessons from the postseason. How do you feel that group now with your additions is set up for the season and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, like those are two very different time points. So we are, I think the D word, right? Like you're just gonna keep saying it, depth, because at this time of year with, a mountain of games ahead of you, there's a lot of unpredictability about it, and so you build depth, you build a foundation of a group that can handle all those innings, and look, every team's going to sit here and say we're in a good spot right now, but I think we've, it's one of the things that can go wrong in a season, and it's a tough position to fill on the back end of it, and so that's why you work so hard on the front end to make sure you're in a good spot. Things will happen, but we think we've prepared ourselves for that, and also have some high-end players at the top of it that can certainly carry a big load.
Craig, just getting a taste of the postseason last year, the first time for this team in a while, the experience of Wrigley, all that stuff. Does it change anything for the feeling for you guys, or you or the players, as far as wanting more, having higher expectations for yourselves?
I mean, I think the important part of it is just, again, it's like a foundational piece of it, and it's like it's in us. So that part of it is in us. That experience is in us. With a lot of this group, that experience is in us. That's the important part of it. It doesn't. I don't think it's going to do anything for us this year necessarily on the field, but for the group, it's kind of in us collectively as an experience, and I think that part's important.
What are you most looking forward to about being around Bregman for the first time, and what he will bring just even this spring as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've added a really good baseball player who's just passionate about the game, and that's fun to be around people like that, and we have a lot of people like that, and so I think from that perspective, he fits into that, and he fits into this, like, it's just this quest to just get a little better at something all the time. He loves talking about it. He loves finding ways to get better at it, and that just rubs off. It's fun to be around people like that. That's why we're here. I mean, that's why that's why you all are here, because you love baseball, and so just he wants to talk about it, and he wants to get better at it. He wants to talk to players about it. But I think it's a great thing for our players, and we have a lot of guys like that, and it ends up into a lot of like great baseball conversations that we all really enjoy.
Sorry, can you talk about your conversations with Shaw about expectations for him and how to internalize it, from your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt kind of heard what he wanted, what he was hoping to hear, is that we're going to play him in multiple positions, and I think he was in his mind ahead of it a little bit and excited about it. So it really just, I think the outfield is the thing that's going to be newer for him. There's a number of positives we have working for us. One, Matt's a really good athlete. I think he's demonstrated that. I think he demonstrated last year a position change, and very much I think we all saw it improved as he put in work for it. That's a very positive step. He's going to have some work to do this spring. He's not afraid of that. He's a worker. He loves that part of it. He loves the challenge of it. So this is like not on my top 3 list of things to worry about, I'd say. I think Matt's going to do this great. And we were a healthy group as a position player unit last year. Very healthy group. If that happens again, great. But I think you anticipate probably a little more happening, and that's where Matt's going to be very important.
I guess the add-on to that is, do you concern yourself about all the positions detracting from him learning how to be a major league hitter, still evolving in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt is a major league hitter. I think his second half of the season demonstrates that. So he had a very good second half of the season. He had a season that you anticipate young players having, where the league tells you have to make some adjustments. Can you make them, like, on the fly? He did that very well. So the part of, like, is it too much on his plate, I think kind of what you're asking. That's all how you frame it. I think everybody has a lot on their plate in a different way. But Matt's got a fun challenge ahead of him. That's how I see it, and I think that's how he sees it.
Has it crossed your mind that you could have maybe one of the best defensive teams you've ever had when you consider he's your extra infielder, so to speak?
We had a very good defensive team last year. I think it's largely the same group. We're going to be a good defensive team.
Do you see any more Bregman DH days just to get him off his feet with Matt around? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, of course, yeah, that's a possibility. But that's not. Alex is the third baseman. I think that's just a season thing, and you play it, see how it goes during the season. But yeah, that's certainly one of the ways we can go.
Like a year ago, we were saying, hey, at some point, maybe we'll make an impact in the season. Just what's it like now, knowing the body of work he experienced as a rookie, how he responded when tough things happened, how he learned what he showed you throughout the last year?
Yeah, I mean, Cade's, likewise got a huge challenge ahead of him. I think, he dominated the league last year. There wasn't many challenges for Cade while he was pitching. He did. He was outstanding. So, now it's to do it again and do it over a full season and respond to that, taking the ball a little more. The workload is going to increase. And that's going to be a challenge, and he'll have to navigate that. But I think, again, like Matt, Cade is a person that wants challenges in front of him, and he's already locked in and going about business as you'd expect him to.
You said Matt Shaw's not in the top 3 things you worry about. What are the top 3 things you worry about?
Pass.
Even generalities.
Yeah.
With regards to depth.
That was just a figure of speech. If that makes sense, yeah.
With regards to depth, how much is that a topic that Jed's talking about right now? Is that more of a topic than in previous years because of the heightened expectations?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things to we can be better here. You're always kind of doing that. But, I think we're very comfortable with where the roster sits right now. Always trying to get better, of course. injuries will happen, and they'll heighten your wants or needs, things like that. But we're in a very good place, and we're going to continue to. Jed's going to try to continue to improve the roster, but we can always. No, we don't have enough. You can always do that. I think we're in a really good place.
With so many new faces in the bullpen, how do you get to know them quick enough that you're not using April to figure out roles, or is that just how it always works?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent that's always how it's going to be. But it's a pretty established group with the players that we signed. I don't think we're thinking about a lot of new things necessarily. They're good at what they do. We know what they're going to do. I think prioritizing their health over the course of the spring is job number one, and the foundation of being healthy. But there's always going to be surprises on that area of your team. That's how the area of your team is going to work.
If it was April 1st tomorrow, would Valencia get the 9th inning?
Yeah.
What's your sense of optimism now compared to a year ago, this exact time?
Nice scoop, Jesse. Nice job. You're very proud of yourself right there, man. You're very proud of yourself. Sorry.
What's your sense of optimism now compared to a year ago at this same time?
Everybody's optimistic right now. Yeah, we all should be. So I was optimistic last year at this time. Absolutely, yeah, very optimistic. Yeah, I mean I think we won 92 games. That's a good. You win 92 games, like it's good. We'll take it. That's a playoff team. Yeah.
What are your impressions just with players they get here earlier? It seems each time some of it could be WBC related. This time around, last year, but just
yeah. No, I mean, I think what we try to do is you try to make the complex a place that players want to come to, and being in Phoenix and a good location is helpful for that, and players want to spend their winters here, and we can provide training areas and staff that players feel like they can get better at kind of all times of year. That's a goal that we've had, the Cubs have had for sure, to make players want to train at this complex to get better. And you need some time away, but there's also the time to get here and use the facilities. What we feel like are great facilities is really important to the organization.
We'll take 2 more for Craig.
Craig, if it's April 1st, is Horton your opening day starter?
Yeah, no, there's no opening day starters. Yeah, not there yet. No. Yeah.
With some of the factors that were in play with Shota into the second half, what's your optimism that he can kind of get back to who he was before the injury, kind of the domino?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for Shota to have an outstanding season. I really think, look, this is he is going to respond kind of to the things that happened at the end of the year, and he wasn't happy how he pitched, and that's what great competitors do. They respond to things like that, and he will absolutely respond, and I'm very confident in that.
If you could pick one thing he kind of did in the off season to sort of move forward, what might it be?
Yeah, I mean, there was not. It's all very subtle. Like it's not. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I think that's the difficulty of Major League Baseball, is that these guys are at a level where the difference between success and struggle is very tiny, and the adjustments they're small, and also sometimes like that's why you think you can fix yourself like immediately, but it's just the subtle things like can get you off track, and sometimes you need to step back a little bit to see that, right? And I think as much as anything, Shota probably needed a little bit of time to be able to step back a little bit, and that gives you some clarity as much as anything.
Anyone delayed injury-wise or travel-wise?
Yeah, we have some visa issues. Assad, Ballesteros, Bethencourt, all expected shortly, but not here today.